You wake up and your daughter is packing for a school trip. Not to Paris. Paris is closed. She's going to Canada, because that's about as far as your family is allowed to go. On your kitchen wall is a map of the world. From your side of the Atlantic, one single color runs all the way east, unbroken. All of Europe, one red. There is no Paris you can visit. No Rome, no Berlin, no Amsterdam. They're all still there. They're just on the other side of the longest closed border on Earth. This is your America, 2026, and it comes down to a few weeks in the spring of 1945 when the guns in Europe went quiet. And then, here, they didn't. In your world, the armies meet in the middle of Germany, shake hands on a river, and stop. A line is drawn, half of Europe free, half behind a curtain. Your grandfather was one of the soldiers on that river. In your world, he helps hold the western half. He comes home proud of what he saved. Here, the line your grandfather expected is never drawn. The war in the West has exhausted the Allies, and the Red Army, bigger and closer, simply keeps moving west. Your grandfather watches from a retreating column as town after town he just helped free is taken again. He never forgets the faces in the windows. By the autumn, the tanks reach the French coast, where your grandfather stood months earlier. They stop only because the water does. Everything from the Atlantic to Russia is now one power. Britain hangs on across its narrow channel, an island fortress. But the continent your family came from is gone, behind a wall in a single year. And it reaches your life in 100 small ways. There is no Marshall Plan, because there is no free Europe to rebuild. That money, that friendship, never happens. There is no NATO for your country to lead. No alliance of free European nations, because there are none left to ally with. America faces the whole continent alone. Your father grew up in a country that felt surrounded. Not two blocks politely watching each other. One ocean, and beyond it, a wall from pole to pole. The Cold War you half remember is colder here, and lonelier. No European allies to share it. Just your country, the ocean, and a continent that used to be family. Your son studies for a test on European capitals he will never see. Paris, Rome, Madrid, names on a map, behind a border, like cities on the moon. There's no cheap flight to Europe, no summer in Italy, no backpacking through Spain. The whole continent your world treats like a playground is simply shut. The food, the films, the fashion, the words, a whole ocean of culture your world soaked up from a free Europe never crosses the water. It's all locked behind the wall. And your grandfather, until the day he died, kept a photograph of a town in France. He helped free it for exactly 11 days. Then he watched it go red for good. And now you're back in your kitchen, the daughter who can't visit Paris. The map that's all one color. The photo of a town your family lost twice. Now you know why. A few weeks in 1945, when the guns went quiet and the tanks here didn't stop at the river, in your world, they stopped. A line held. Half of Europe stayed free enough to rebuild, to ally, to welcome your family back as visitors instead of ghosts. So here's the question. How much of your world was built on the half of Europe that stayed free? Tell me in the comments which world you'd rather wake up in, and I'll show you the next one.